Tell me about yourself. What the interviewer is asking here goes well beyond the question itself. She's looking for information that will help her decide whether you're a fit. What she is effectively saying is, tell me why you wouldn't fit here or why you would be a great member. What does she need to know about you to realize you have what it takes to help the sorority move toward its goals? You might answer in a chronological sequence, emphasizing your background most relevant to your final answer. For example, if you have a lot of experience working with teams, you could mention your first 3 experiences on teams, showing increasing skill with goal setting or leading. The logical final answer is sororities provide many opportunities to work in teams and develop friendships. The important part of answering this question is the storytelling aspect. You'll have the sorority woman interested in the culmination of your answer, and the finale will be, in her mind, that you could be a great match for her sorority. Be logical, organized, and concise. Here are some sample questions with which sorority members are prepped by their trainers. What are you looking for in a sorority? How was your summer or winter break? What classes are you taking? Do you miss your hometown friends? What made you decide to go through rush or recruitment? How did you choose your major? What are your hobbies? What kind of community service have you done? What prompted you to go through recruitment? Why are you interested in joining a sorority? Do you like to travel? Where have you traveled? How did you choose this university? What kind of clubs were you involved with in high school? Do you have any Greek alumni in your family? Where are you living this year? What do you like to do for fun? You'll surely face this question as well. Do you have any questions for me about our chapter? Yes, the answer is yes. You will need to have some questions ready. Here are some questions you can fall back upon. Remember that these are to be used only if you've drawn a blank on the seed planting or leading type of questions that you created above. These are questions that all the other sorority candidates will also be asking. Yes, tell me about your big sister, little sister program. Do you have a little sis? Yes, how do you balance school and sorority? Yeah, tell me, what's your academic program like? Sure, what happens during homecoming or Greek week? How is your sorority involved? How were you involved? Yeah, tell me about yourself. Why did you join the sorority and what's the best part of being a member? What's your favorite part of being in the Panhellenic community? What does your sorority do to support your philanthropy? Do you live in the sorority house? What do you like about it? What do you think this coming year is going to be like for your chapter? What do you think will be different from last year at your chapter? What activities will you be involved with this year? You seem to have a great sisterhood here. I'm fortunate to have been able to see that over the last few days. What allows 2 women who are very different to come together within your sisterhood? Do you have any members who are planning to go to grad school? Do you have many members who participate in study abroad programs? What have you found to be some surprises about being in a sorority? What are your sisterhoods like? I know you can't tell me the details about your initiation, but I wonder if you can tell me about the emotions you felt before, during, and after your own initiation. Will you be getting a little sis after recruitment? How will the new member class change your role in the sorority? Are you looking forward to that? Consider inquiring about how the sorority handles disagreements among women to identify the sorority's culture. The thought of asking this might make you uncomfortable at first, but aren't you really interested in what kind of interpersonal dynamics occur behind the closed doors? Is it possible that every woman is kind and respectful to her sisters at all times? Is it a negative, destructive, toxic environment in which you won't thrive? If you're genuinely interested in finding out how the women treat one another, ask. Diplomatically, of course. You'll never know until you do. You could ask something like, I realize it's impossible for so many women to get along perfectly fine all the time, so I'm curious, how do you all handle disagreements? And if you're really good, you'll turn this into a behavioral interviewing question by asking the woman to think of a specific example. She might need a moment to think, and that's okay. You're being nice and asking a genuine question, a reasonable question. Tell me about a time when you were unable to see eye to eye with one of your sisters, how you handled it and how she handled it. If this woman is genuinely interested in helping you to learn more about her chapter, She'll pause while she sorts through a long list of conflicts in her head, looking for the one that makes her look best. And that's fine. You're doing the same. The other benefit of this is that after she provides you with an example, you can identify the positive traits about herself that she mentioned and then pay her a compliment. But also, you know so much more about that sorority and its members than a vast majority of other prospective members. Good work. While the sorority member answers questions like this, tune into her nonverbal signals. Does she use a lot of ums or uhs, fail to make eye contact with you, touch her face a lot, or change the subject? If so, she might be hiding something. This is a red flag for you. Raise your proverbial eyebrow and keep asking questions. What about the difficult or unexpected questions? Yeah, it's true that you may sometimes get an unexpected question you have to handle. When you find yourself faced with an uncomfortable question, do like the best politicians do. Answer her with a question of your own. Here are some options. 1. Ask for clarification. Say, I'm not sure I understand. Would you be willing to ask me that question in a different way? 2. Turn the question back around on her. Say, I was just going to ask you about that. What do you think of it? 3. The ultimate turnaround is, why do you ask? 4. Brush it off by saying, I don't think we have enough time to answer that question in the detail needed. Then answer some other part of the question by saying, however, I will tell you, and then insert something related to the original topic. Be careful with using too many of these in any one conversation, as you don't want to come across as abrasive or flippant. Trista taught you that being a good conversationalist may cause sorority members to think highly of a prospective sister. It makes sense, don't you think? A woman who carries herself well and speaks well, and who appears mature, self-assured, and attractive is captivating. Now add an optimistic attitude, sense of humor, and genuine interest, and you can see how this can make up for almost any hurdle. Learning how to become this type of skilled conversationalist requires you to understand the difference between basic conversation skills and advanced ones. Moving away from the mundane, informational topics into more personal, intimate, caring conversation is key to making a better impression. Plan to have 2 types of questions ready for the first round of recruitment. By planting conversational seeds and asking leading questions, you'll be in control of the conversation. In middle rounds, you'll be able to advance your conversation to a more personal level, learning about the individual sorority woman as opposed to learning about sorority facts. Finally, your preference events are elegant affairs. The mood will be different, and your hostess will want to speak to you on an intimate level. Let her, if necessary, help her get to that point. You may notice during preference that sorority members are seeking to learn about your emotional needs. This is something you've already been doing with them for 1 or 2 rounds. Understanding a person's deepest emotions, particularly her deepest fears, will bond you two like nothing else. Bonding with a woman will make you feel like you're already her sister. Of course, in order to bond, you'll have to listen. Remember to tune in to the words that seem especially important to her. Listen to her questions and try to understand what she really means to ask you. Understand the difference between typical and fabulous answers. Remember which questions you want to ask too. The answers will be very telling. Looking back at Trista's conversations, we realize she didn't do a lot of speaking about herself, but instead she asked a lot of questions and did a lot of listening. This is a good example for you. Remember, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and you should spend twice as much time listening as you do speaking.